Hello, lovers of all things geekdom. My name is Aaron, aka Lepfum,
Hey, my name is Nathan, aka Grim.
and welcome back to another exciting week of Geek Out Topics, where we come up with a topic every single week, and that we just come up with, whatever, and bring it to you and try to start a conversation. This week's topic is the top 5 games of our lives, I guess. And there's rules that we've set ourselves to give us a better way of coming up with the games that we wanted to come up with. And so the rules are, so you guys can participate, is it had to have a great impact on your life. You know, it had to mean something physically and emotionally to you. The second is you can only choose one of a series. You can't choose multiple of a series. And it had to be one of those games that you picked up and you could never put down. So Nathan over here is going to start us off so we can get right into it. All right, Nathan, hit me with it. What's your first game?
All right, so I have two honorable mentions before we do start. The first one is Ratchet and Clank because I remember getting it for my birthday and I couldn't put it down. Like, I was just like, weapons are awesome, everything was awesome. And my second one is Dark Cloud because that's another game where I couldn't put down. It was probably my second PS2 game I ever got.
Mm-hmm.
But those are two honorable mentions. My fifth place game is Mario Party
Which one?
because
The first one?
the first one.
Okay.
First one. And I could probably say Mario Party 2 is better, but I think Mario Party had the more meaningful thing to me. And it's like, we played that so much that I probably spent more time with that than any game ever.
Right.
And just being able to play with your friends in the game that you could play for days on end.
That couch
And that's
couch rivalry.
Oh my God, like the game that ruined friendships, Mario Party.
Mario Party and
Right
Mario
here.
Kart. They were the king.
Exactly. Number 4, and this might surprise you, and it may surprise a lot of people. It's called Champions of Norris.
Oh yeah.
It is a PS2 game, and
times.
I'm pretty sure it was a 3 or 4 player game. And if
I think
anybody's
it was.
played, yeah, I think it was 3 or 4. I can't remember. But if anybody's played Baldur's Gate, Champions of North is basically an updated and better version of it. And I think Fallout Brotherhood of Steel as well is kind of like Champions of North. But Champions of North is kind of like EverQuest, if anybody's ever heard of that as well. And being able to play with your friends, I usually play with my dad because we like hours and hours and hours of gameplay with that. But
I feel
yeah,
I would have to say it was more like Diablo, because it was kind of like that top-down view of things, and you didn't really
yeah,
get a
that is
lot to
true.
play with. You just had all these spells, and I think it's Champions of Norath, isn't it?
Yeah, North.
Yeah,
It's either North or Norath.
yeah. I
But
don't think North was it, but yeah, that game was really fun. I remember playing that.
tons of weapons, tons of like I could summon a skeleton as a dark elf. I mean,
Good
I
times.
called my skeleton stupid all the time because they would just stand there.
Yeah, we have to stand there and do nothing.
I could literally talk about this game for hours, and
Yeah, man.
I can't wait till me and left from here do a recording of that. But number 3 and my most favorite Zelda game of all time, Wind Waker.
Ugh.
A lot of people don't like Wind Waker because maybe the art style or something.
Cell shading.
I love the game. The boss fights are awesome. The characters in the game are awesome. What I really love is Windfall, the town of Windfall. I believe that's what it's called. Windfall.
It's been a while. I need to get it on the
think it's-
Wii U
Yeah,
so I can play it.
I think it's called Windfall Island, and
Ship it
like
to me.
just seeing all the seeing all the characters in it, it was just a great game in my opinion. And I can't like the first fight with Ganon, I do remember, but the second fight was really disappointing because of how short it was and how it was kind of disappointing. But that's number 3. Number 2, it was a game that I've never beat before, but I'm gonna have it here anyways because of how much fun it is.
That's
Super
fine.
Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, The Legend of the Seven Swords.
Yes, I actually have it
Was
for my
it?
Super Nintendo.
Or was it like the
was
Seven Kingdoms? Or I don't know.
7 stars or 7 swords?
Something like that. Y'all know what we're talking about. Images on the screen. Super
Yes.
fun game.
But
It spawned so many different types of games of Mario with that playstyle.
Paper Mario, yeah, just like SquareSoft, and I think I don't know if it was
It was Squaresoft at the time, now Square
Yeah.
Enix.
but they partnered with Nintendo to make this baby of awesomeness, and The music was awesome. The gameplay was awesome. Everything about this game is amazing, and I do recommend getting it and playing it and loving it.
Yeah, it was super good. Yeah, that kind of game that spawned Paper Mario, like you said. I think Partners in Time, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time was the same
Yeah,
gameplay.
Superstar Saga.
Yeah,
Yep.
Superstar Saga. Oh my god, that gameplay was super cool because it was like mixing Mario with Final Fantasy, and
Yep.
I need to touch it again because it was super
Yes.
fun.
I'm gonna end up recording that sometime, but I don't know
Ooh,
when.
dirty.
And my favorite top game of all time, Sly Cooper 2,
Are we
Band of
already on one?
Thieves. Yes,
Oh
it was
shit.
quick. But I think the main reason why I have this as number one is because of my memories of the game, and obviously the how much I played it. I played this game constantly. This game was a game that I couldn't stop playing it. As soon as I started it, I kept playing it and I beat it. And it was much more than that as well. It was more of like a friendship kind of game as well,
Hmm.
because when we were kids, me and Lefum and our good friend who passed away just recently,
Yeah.
we would go out in our yard and we would just play. I was Murray, Lefum was Bentley, and our good friend was Sly Cooper, and we would have these great stories that we would come up with about Sly Cooper 2. And if it wasn't for
Hmm.
that game, I'm not really sure if we would have, been able to do that, or we would have had a great time and
Yeah.
kind of yeah,
We came up with a lot of things, like we reenacted a lot of things out in the yard when we were younger. But Slykeber was one of those things that we felt like for the first time that, because you as kids you fight over who's who, you know,
yeah,
and that was one thing where we kind of just like yeah we're those people.
yeah. It
Because
was
I
it
was
was new.
definitely
We
Bentley.
knew.
I'm the tech guy of the group, and Nathan's the brawn, the muscle, and Shims was always like that sneaky guy. And
Yeah, he was
so yeah,
fast.
we that was the first time that we ever actually like as a group of friends
Yeah,
put ourselves
did
in
something
character
together. I
shoes.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, we did a
exactly.
lot together, but like we fit
Yeah,
there. It was like on the dot. We
yeah. It
fit with
was
those
it was Nook's
characters.
playing everything. Yeah.
Um, just for the audience and me again, can you name off your top five again?
Number five was Mario Party.
Mm-hmm.
Number four was Champions of Norath or North.
Mm-hmm.
Number three was Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm.
Number two was Super Mario RPG: The Legend of Seven Stars. I gotta look it up, but I can't remember. Sly Cooper 2, Band of Thieves.
Okay. Yeah, I just because I'm writing all this stuff down for editing purposes, and I was like, wait, I thought he only said four, and then I forgot there was one Waker. All right. I have two honorable mentions that I'm gonna throw out there. The first one is Spyro the Dragon for the PlayStation 1. Something that I had deep memories with when I was younger. I didn't know what it was. I was like, okay, I'm playing a small dragon. I love dragons. I love fire. Let's see how this goes. And I first played it for the first time, and it was so different. It was such a different game for me. Um, like altogether, and it threw me for a whirl, and especially going through the entire game and 100%ing it all. One of those games. It was one of those games that you had 100% to be able to do certain things. Um, and the second one is Mario Kart Double Dash.
Mm.
I miss it so much. It was a GameCube game that you actually got to team up with your friends on the same cart together, and I thought it was cool. And also, when you're not even like it gives you that teamwork kind of basis, and when you're not playing teams, but you still have like two people on your cart, like a computer, it's still cool because it gives you double the weapons, and it was a different spin for the Mario Kart franchise, and
How do
I
people
really
hate
miss
that
it.
game? I don't understand.
I don't know.
That's like the most hated Mario Kart game.
Is
It's
it
like I
really?
love it. Yeah, I think
I don't
so.
know. I mean, I wish I could go back to the very first Mario Kart, but I can't. It hurts my eyes.
Yeah, Super Mario Kart. Yeah.
But my number five. These are not in order, by the way, and I don't think Nathan's was in order either. Was yours in order? Like from your least favorite to the favorite?
Sly Cooper 2 was in order, but like everything else was just jumbled up.
Okay, I got you. Mine isn't in order though. Because I really can't decide which one would be my favorite amongst the five, but because they're all kind of like in the same vein. Well, my number five game is Final Fantasy X. It was the very first Final Fantasy game that I ever beaten. It was the very first Final Fantasy game on PS2, and I think if I'm correctly, is the very first Final Fantasy game to have a voice cast. Even though they never said the lead character's name, and you were able to change his name. His name was still Titus, depending on how you say it, or the real pronunciation. We don't know because they never said it. um, in the game. But yeah, it drew with me. Like it was the very first game, Final Fantasy game, that I was actually able to sit down from beginning to end and actually beat. This game came out around like 2001, 2002. I was how old was I then? I was 10 years. I was 10. I was around 10
Yep,
when I first came
around
out.
there.
So
Yep.
it was hard for me to actually finish those kind of games when I was younger because like they were super long and I don't have an attention span for that kind of stuff. But it's grown on me. JRPGs is my all-time favorite video game genre besides first-person shooters, but I like first-person shooters for the competitiveness. Um and yeah, storyline, it drew with me, it connected with me really well. I loved the hell out of it. Start to finish, couldn't put it down, and it had all these themes, and it was one of the very first video games to actually make me like tear up because I wasn't used to actually a game doing that, like actually
Yeah.
having loss and the like it had that
Emotion.
father son scene too, like between Titus and Ject, 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 something like that. Jet. Um, my fourth game is Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance,
Oh.
which I figured it would throw Nathan off for a whirl because he probably, and most of my friends will probably think that I would say the very first Kingdom Hearts, and for most cases, you would be right. But when I sat down to actually think about it, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, and this was actually the first game that I decided on my top five. This is the first game of Kingdom Hearts that I actually was able to sit down from start to finish and finish. I beat it the weekend I got it because Nintendo games come out on Fridays, and I beat it by Sunday. I did not put it down. It was one of those games that I was just like, there are certain things of it that I didn't really like. Same with Birth by Sleep. I don't care for the command prompt. I mean the command stacks. I don't use them. I am a brute. I don't use magic. I never use magic unless it is cure. Um, but like this had like the different type. It was different.
It's kind of like
Battle wise.
Chain of Memories in a sense.
No,
No,
it wasn't
no.
out. It was basically PS2 Kingdom Hearts on the 3DS, but
Okay.
it had a different fighting style, like the free flow combat where you get to bounce off walls and all this stuff, and you had the little Dream Eaters who were kind of like your Tamagotchi pets, and that literally helped you fight things. And then halfway, like it took you for a spin. I'm not gonna really say anything, but like because Nathan hasn't really beaten this game yet, but you find out halfway through whose story this really is, and that excited me because I found out when I was a certain level over the other character, I felt more enjoyment playing through the other character's perspective than this character. Which people who've played the game know what I'm talking about. And I put it from start to finish, and it was defining because like there's 50 million Kingdom Hearts games now, and we
Yeah.
still haven't got Kingdom Hearts 3, but it's there. It's on the horizon, and we know it's there, and we're gonna get to see it soon. But Dream Drop Distance, after all these little sequels, it was the one that gave me hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 is gonna be fucking amazing. And I cannot fucking wait. My third game, Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess, easily my most favorite Zelda game of all time. A lot of people don't like Twilight Princess. A lot of people don't like Wind Waker. A lot of people don't like
Yeah.
Skyward Sword, and that's just a running thing. Sorry, I was pinching my nose. A running thing with all the Zelda games. Like people were
They're
just
unique.
like the Legend of Zelda games fell off after Majora's Mask, and that's not true.
Hmm.
The Legend of Zelda games are what they are. They changed the art style, they changed the way the game's played, and they tried to give someone a new experience through the game. And Twilight Princess was that for me. It was the first Zelda game that I ever beaten. Apparently, as a kid, I was too stupid to learn how to, on Ocarina of Time, knock back the light ball to Ganon. And I found that out in the middle of the fight with Ganon and Twilight Princess. But its art style, it was dark, and that's what I love. I love when things get dark. The games before that were kind of bright. Like Ocarina of Time had its darkness, but it had its bright parts too. Um, and it I start to finish, I never put it down, and it had all these things that I could do in it, and its map was gigantic. Ocarina of Time's map was still kind of small and it was somewhat linear, but with this,
Yeah.
there's like you had these things you had to collect that were all over. It took you a long time to get from point A to point B in that game. I've never played Skyward Sword yet, though I will. So I don't really know how big that map is per se.
Yes. Either
But
way.
Twilight Princess, it scored home with me, and I don't know how I feel about the wolf transformation, but I still thought the wolf transformation stuff was really neat. The fact that, Link was a
It
werewolf
was unique. Yeah,
or a
it's pretty awesome.
shapeshifter. Sorry, he's not a werewolf. Twilight. Hilariously enough, Twilight's in the title. But my fourth game is Digimon World 2.
Ooh.
I played Digimon World 1. It was alright, but I didn't really care for it because all it was basically you got a Digimon, which it was still a good game, don't get me wrong. It was a great game, but it wasn't for me. You got a Digimon egg, you hatched it, you got the Digimon, and you trained it all the way as high as it could go, but it dies. Like, it dies like everything else. It was really cool. But Digimon World 2 was neat because it had a turn-by-turn base. And it had this unique, weird little story, and it added, I want to say, not season 2, because I think it dealt all the way up to season 2, because it only had Vmon from season 2 of it. It put in DNA Digivolution, which I thought was cool. And you could put two Digimon together to create a new Digimon, but they couldn't separate. So, you could create these Digimon and, level them all the way up to Mega and all this stuff, and you can, basically catch them all. Kind of since, the Pokemon sense, where you're like, I want to try to make as many Digimon as I possibly can. I want to try to catch all these Digimon and get them to their awesomeness form. And then there was, a story mode to it that was really neat. And I put that game down every now and then, but I always came back to it. It was an odd game, and I still pick it up from day to day.
Is that the Digimon game that I used to watch you play all the time?
Yeah, the one where you're in this car and you're going up these little map spaces and fighting Digimon with turn based. You had three Digimon on your team. You can have
Yeah, I
a max of
remember
three Digimon on your team.
watching you had Agumon, Vmon, I think it was as well.
I had Agumon, Vmon, Garurumon. I made Omnimon, and I made Imperial Dramon. I made all these Digimon, and I think I had. I don't think I had Beelzemon. I don't think Beelzemon was in it, but he was in 4. Which 4 was neat, but a lot of people didn't like it because they gave them weapons. Like, they don't need
Oh
weapons.
yeah.
That was weird. I don't know what they were doing. Well, we're getting a new Digimon next year, and I'm excited. For PS4 and PS Vita. But yeah, I had all these things that I could do with it, and I love Digimon. Digimon was honestly my favorite over Pokemon. Because it stuck
Yeah,
to its anime core instead of becoming like The Simpsons and having 50 million seasons for no reason.
the art style was good too. I think it was
hmm
better than Pokemon actually.
Yeah, I like it. It was traditional.
Yeah.
And my one number one game, but none of these are all in order, is Legend of Dragoon. I had a hard time wanting to keep this in because I felt I needed to have something else because all these games besides Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance are all for the PlayStation. Um, well, no, Twilight Princess was for the Wii and GameCube. I had it for the Wii, but still, I felt like I needed another Nintendo game in there, but I just couldn't part with Legend of Dragoon because I was used to Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy was the turn-by-turn based JRPG for me, and then a friend, my brother's friend, brought over. He had 2 copies of Legend of Dragoon, and he gave me one, and I played the crap out of this game. And it was one of the because Final Fantasy games had death in the past, but I never got to see them. Where you lose one of your party members and everything like that. Like Final Fantasy 7 had the loss of party members. I don't know if Final Fantasy 8 or 9 did. Final Fantasy 10 didn't really have it, but there was death in it. But this one is I legitimately watched one of my party members have to get switched out in the middle of the game, because they died, and it blew my freaking mind. I was like, "What? I lost my party member, and now I have to fight with a new dude who has a new whole set of move lists? Are you
Yeah. Oh
freaking
yeah.
kidding me?" And it was really cool. It had a lot like Final Fantasy, but it had these little different power ups that were really neat and unique to the JRPG franchise for me. And I wish there was a sequel. They said they were working on a sequel. Shuhei Yoshida worked at the company who made that game, and he said they were supposed to be making a sequel to Legend of Dragoon, but it got canceled, which sucks because I love Legend of Dragoon, and I would love to see a Legend of Dragoon game on the PS4, new one, but I don't think we're ever going to go back to that type of video game playing. And just like I said with the Final Fantasy VII remake, if Tetsuya Nomura is working on the Final Fantasy VII remake, it is not going to be turn-by-turn based, and I'm going to say that now. They're going to get rid of that because they're getting rid of it in everything they own now.
And I remember watching Aaron play Legend of Dragoon all the time. And I remember, I think, I don't know if I was in the at your house when you beat like the main person, like the main battle or whatever.
I don't remember. I the hardest boss I ever fought was the like I guess the anti-dragoon guy because he had a staff in his head that would basically make my people dumb. Like he wouldn't work. I was there for hours. I got stuck, and I couldn't beat him. And then I finally beat him one day when I found my memory card and stuff. And I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to get to the end. This is all I wanted to do. Yeah, and like I lost my X and circle, like the printing of the X and circle button
Oh yeah,
on
that
there
was funny.
because like I've said in previous, if you've seen our previous videos, I've talked about this. But say you're putting the controller up on one hand and you take two fingers, you put it on the X and circle, and then you constantly scratch at both of them together because you had certain items that if you did that, you would increase the damage of them. And then there's also like pressing buttons at the right time, and that's also
Yeah,
another
time.
reason why this game is like up there for me, that it is on my top 5 because it had such a different type of play style where you had to hit these certain buttons at a certain time to be able to do a maximum amount of damage, and then sometimes you'll get these counters where you have to press a different button and all that stuff, and you had stuff with the dragoon powers and they would level up,
Oh, that was awesome.
and it was so good. Each person had a dragoon. um it's just such a good game. If I were you, it's on the PlayStation Store for
Yep.
$6. Just get it. It's available on Vita and PS3. You can buy it once, play it on both, and it's just such a good game. I'd definitely pick it up if I were you. If you're looking and if you love JRPGs and you haven't played this game before, I'd pick it up and get it. It's fun, really unique. But I think I don't really have any more honorable mentions or anything like that. Anything else you'd like to say? Nathan?
Not really like Super Castlevania 4 in my opinion is
Yeah,
my
that game's
favorite
fun.
Castlevania, I should say.
Mine was 64 for sure.
Yeah.
Castlevania
And
64.
a lot of people hated that game, but I remember watching Aaron play it. I can't remember which one it was, but he was fighting like werewolves, and I remember,
It was yeah, that was it.
yeah, they
It
were
was the two
completely
werewolves
destroyed.
when you go into the castle, and that was cool. Going into the castle reminded me of Ocarina of Time a lot. It really did. I
Yeah.
walked into the castle of Ganon. I walked into the castle of this. I feel like uh, Castle Castlevania 4 was inspired by Legend of Zelda because everybody was trying to take their 2D platforms and make them 3D, and Legend of
Yep.
Zelda was kind of like that Homer of it. I guess I should say that in Mario 64, but it reminded
Banjo-Kazooie.
me a lot. Banjo-Kazooie, yeah, that was fun. But yeah,
That's
the
another game.
Going into the castle in Castlevania 64 reminded me so much of Ocarina of Time. But yeah, I think that's it for us for this week. Next week, we should be having up a very neat discussion that I had with my good friends Antonio, and Joseph JSD Man Nintendo. Antonio, as you know, if you've watched our videos before, he makes our main intro. That shows all of our stuff on it, and it should be in front of this until we can get a Geek Out intro made up.
Hmm.
Definitely check them both out. There'll be a video for Smash Bros. Up next week, hopefully with a bunch of footage from Smash Bros. Like we did with Splatoon. And yeah, make sure you guys check out everything that's going on this week. This day marks our 1 year of creating this channel, and we've come very far with it. I mean, it doesn't matter where we have with our subscribers, but how many
Yeah.
subscribers we have, but like the constant like views that we've gotten, shares, and everything like that we got on our videos in the first year is phenomenal for us, and we really do appreciate everything that you guys do. We're gonna have a separate video today, a
Yep.
little after this video goes up, talking about some of the stuff that the reason why we started this channel and everything. And then we're going to be streaming that night. So if you've seen us and you want to come by and hang out, we're going to play a bunch of Wii U games, including Splatoon, Smash Bros, Mario Kart. Welcome to come by and hang out and enjoy a good time. That's at twitch.tv/Aaron underscore aka underscore Letfum. And make sure, if you like this video, please like it. If you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. Join the conversation and tell us your top 5 games in the comment section down below. We would love to read them and respond to them and have a great conversation about all these fun games that we played in our past. And yeah, my name is Aaron, aka Lepfum,
My name's Nathan, aka Grim.
and we'll see you guys this week. Later.
Thanks for watching, guys.